Do you feel like you're consistently chasing men when you're dating? Do you feel like after 3 or 4 dates, it's just a repeating pattern that they pull away, go cold, or just start ignoring you? Why do men pull away in the early stages of dating relationships? In this video, I'm going to talk about a concept that it's come to my attention after seeing this repeated pattern over and over again with clients that I've worked with, as well as with some of my female friends who've got a lot of potential, who have a lot going for them, yet they are constantly experiencing guys pulling away. One of the reasons this is so confusing is because the guys that you're dating, typically A, they can't articulate what's actually happening, why their feelings are suddenly gone. B, they don't want to hurt your feelings if they do understand what's happening. Or C, they just don't care enough and aren't invested enough in you as a person to really give you the feedback that will help you break this pattern and actually start having men chasing you rather than you chasing them. So in this video, the concept that is directly related to why men pull away is a concept called what I like to call filling the space. Now, filling the space is equivalent to psychological bad breath if you are consistently filling the space over and over again. And how it happens is, well, imagine that you have you and the guy, and in between the two of you, there's a space. And if you are consistently with your actions, with your words, and with your presence, initiating and being directive and jumping into this space, you subtly declaw the man that you're with. Because what happens is you take on the role of the masculine, of the initiator in the dynamic, and there's actually only room for one of you to be the masculine, the initiator in this dynamic. And from the very early stages, we're talking from the very first conversation to the very first half hour of dating, you set up a dynamic unknowingly where he is going to be where you're going to be chasing him rather than him chasing you. So how does this happen? How do you end up filling the space and not even know it? Well, there's a couple ways this happens. The first one is, do you notice yourself texting more frequently than him? You're sending maybe twice or 3 times as many texts as him. That's one way you may be filling the space, and it's important to stop that. And the rule of thumb is generally try to keep things equal and reciprocal and fill the space as much as he is. The second one is volume of text. Are you sending longer texts to him than he is to you? Is his text brief and succinct, and yours are long and extremely explanative? If that's the case, you're filling the space, and there's a dynamic that you're creating there where you're stepping into something of the initiator and of the masculine that he is then going to be more in a natural receptive mode. This can also happen when you're on a date with him and it happens conversationally. So if you find yourself having the tendency to talk a lot, and maybe you're known as someone who is extremely talkative amongst your friends, you might have a tendency, an unconscious tendency, to be filling the spaces after sentences and not actually allowing the maybe uncomfortable silences to simmer between the two of you. Many times women will jump in and fill in the silence with questions or with a comment about something because it's not actually coming from a place of enthusiasm or excitement, but it's actually coming from a place of fear and anxiety and wanting to control the dynamic rather than allowing something to surface between the two of you that maybe has nothing to do with words. The fourth type is also if you're using sexuality as a way to get men hooked. So if you find yourself being initiating and having this type of almost like sexual bravado in the early stages of dating with him, because it's a tool that maybe you use to get the guy interested in you. You are filling the space then with your sexuality, and although you may get a reaction from him, although you may get some type of positive feedback in terms of how he is looking at you, how he's experiencing you, it again puts him in the role of being more receptive rather than allowing him to step in the space of being directive. And another way that women end up unintentionally filling the space and putting the man in the receptive mode where he doesn't really have the ingredients to chase you, is by actively trying to size him up. Now, sizing him up comes through, it's when it's overt and obvious, such as asking questions like, where is this going? Or what are you looking for? Or asking questions that are these piercing relationship history questions where you're trying to find out whether this guy is relationship material or not really early on. Now, a lot of these tendencies, they come from a place of wanting, as a woman, it comes from a place of wanting to control the interaction, control yourself in the situation because you may be feeling vulnerable. And the more faith and trust in the process you can have, where you are taking a more receptive role rather than a directive role, you will naturally and silently invite this man into the space of feeling like a man in your presence. And men want to feel like men. It's in our biology, it's how we're culturally programmed. And the woman that understands how to be receptive and take a step back and be more comfortable in not taking action, but being receptive and giving him the green lights, is naturally going to invite this part of him out in the interactions. There's nothing that screams desperate more than coming from a place of being really controlling and interrogating the guy, trying to find out his relationship history, initiating too much, texting too much, before you know his character. Because see, if you don't know who he really is yet, and the way that you're approaching the interaction with him is where he starts to feel like you're trying to get the relationship to go someplace, he doesn't actually feel that it's about his specialness and his uniqueness because you don't know his character. What he feels like is that you are looking for the title of being a girlfriend or being a wife or having somebody in your life because you're not comfortable being alone or being single. And then he doesn't want to be the placeholder. He wants you to want him for who he is. So it's also important to note that you balance everything that I'm saying with, it is actually okay to be the initiator sometimes. It is okay to be sexual sometimes. It is okay to fill the space sometimes and ask these questions, but only after you are allowing the necessary time to really get to know who he is and his character, know what he stands for, what his passions are, whether the guy's got integrity. And as you begin to truly have the necessary evidence to respect this man and see him, then there is nothing more attractive to a guy than a woman who is courageous enough to communicate that she wants him after she really sees his specialness and his uniqueness and knows who he is. Then it's okay to begin to open up the floodgates and communicate that to him and be the initiator in some contexts as well, because then he feels like you really want him and you make the relationship a place that's safe and it's reciprocal in nature. So let me know what you guys think of this. Make a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and if you are looking for 8 secrets to create a rock solid relationship, maybe you've met that guy and you're wanting to really start things off on the right foot and create something special with him, click on the link below. You'll be dropped on my website and you can enter in your email and I will send you a book that I created on the 8 secrets to create a rock solid relationship. Thanks for watching.